Most people think intelligence is about knowing more facts, having a perfect memory, or getting straight A's in school. They think smart people are born with a specialized hardware that the rest of us just don't have. But that is not true at all. The real difference between the top 10% and everyone else isn't what they know, it's how they think. It's how they see problems, how they process information, and how they handle the high pressure situations that make everyone else lose their minds. Real intelligence isn't about being a walking encyclopedia. It's about having a better operating system for your brain. Today, I'm going to show you 5 simple ways that truly smart people use their brains differently. These aren't complicated academic theories. They are simple, practical shifts in perspective that most people never figure out. If you start doing these 5 things, you will notice a change immediately. People will start coming to you for advice. Problems that used to keep you up at night will start to feel like simple puzzles. You will finally feel in control of your life. Let's jump in. Habit 1. Curiosity over conflict. Here is something most people get wrong. They think that being right is the same as being smart. When someone disagrees with them, they turn it into a battlefield. They get defensive, they get angry, they use their energy to try and prove the other person is stupid. But truly smart people do something totally different. Instead of fighting to be right, they fight to understand. They don't see a disagreement as a threat to their ego, they see it as a chance to gather data. When they hear a conflicting opinion, they don't snap back with a rebuttal, they ask real, genuine questions. They say things like, "That's an interesting perspective. Help me understand why you think that." Or, "What experience did you have that made you feel this way?" They aren't trying to win a debate, they're trying to learn. When you stop fighting and start asking, people actually listen to you. When you don't attack them, they don't get defensive. They open up. That is when real conversation happens. That is when minds actually change. Smart people know this secret. You cannot force someone to agree with you. But if you help them think through their own ideas, they will often end up changing their own minds. Habit 2. The big picture lens. Most people are trapped in the micro. They fail a test and they think, "I'm stupid." A girl or guy says no to them and they think, "I'm worthless." They have one bad day at work and they think their entire career is falling apart. They're like a camera that's zoomed in so close that they can only see the dirt on the ground. Smart people have a different lens. They zoom out. They don't see a failed test as a final verdict on their intelligence. They see it as a pattern. They ask themselves, maybe I need to change my study habit. Maybe I need more sleep. Maybe I need a tutor for this specific subject. They don't see rejection as proof of their value. They see it as information. When you zoom out, problems stop being emotional weights and start being puzzles, and puzzles can be solved. While everyone else is panicking over the immediate drama, smart people are looking for the root cause. They ask, what is really going on here? What can I actually control in this situation? They don't panic, they plan. By seeing the big picture, they realize that a single bad day isn't a bad life. Habit 3. The circle of control. This might be the biggest energy saver on this list. Most people waste an incredible amount of mental energy worrying about things they have absolutely zero control over. They worry about what their friends think of them. They worry whether it will rain during their vacation. They worry if their boss is in a bad mood or what might happen in the economy next year. All that worry does nothing. It doesn't change the weather, it doesn't change your boss's mood, and it doesn't change the future. It only makes you tired, stressed, and ineffective. Smart people have a simple, brutal rule. If I can't control it, I don't think about it. They focus 100% of their energy on what they can change. You can't control if it rains, but you can control bringing an umbrella. You can't control what people think of you, but you can control being kind and honest. You can't control if you get the job, but you can control how well you prepare for the interview. When you stop worrying about the 90% of things that are out of your hands, you suddenly have a massive surplus of energy to fix the 10% that actually matters. When you stop worrying, you start fixing. Habit 4. Silence is a superpower. In a world that won't stop talking, quiet is a tool. Most people are terrified of silence. When there's a gap in a conversation, they feel a desperate need to fill it. They say the first thing that pops into their head. They talk just to hear their own voice. But smart people are comfortable with the quiet. They listen more than they talk. They let other people finish their thoughts completely. There is a psychological weight to silence. When you pause before answering a question, people instinctively think your answer is going to be important. When you listen without interrupting, people feel truly heard and valued. Quiet people often seem smarter than loud people, not because they have more facts, but because they choose their words with precision. Try this next time someone asks you a question. Count to 3 in your head before you say a single word. You will be amazed at how much better your response becomes. You give your brain time to filter out the nonsense and deliver the truth. Habit 5. The power of the pause. This is the most important habit of all. Most people are reactive. They're like a pinball, bouncing off whatever hits them. Someone cuts them off in traffic, they get angry immediately. Someone says something mean to them, they snap back. Something doesn't go their way, they complain or give up. Smart people do something different. They pause. When something bothers them, they take a breath. They create a gap between the event and their reaction. In that gap, they ask themselves, is this worth getting upset about? What is the best way to handle this so I get the result I want? When someone is rude to them, they don't fire back with an insult. They think, this person is clearly having a terrible day. How can I respond in a way that helps or at least doesn't make it worse? This isn't about being weak or taking it. It's about being the most powerful person in the room. The person who stays calm while everyone else gets emotional is the one who has the power. The person who thinks while others react is the one who makes the better choice. The conclusion: intelligence is a choice. Here is what this all means. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room. You don't need to know everything. You don't need a fancy degree. You just need to think differently. Ask questions instead of arguing. Look for patterns instead of panicking. Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. Get comfortable with quiet moments. And most importantly, pause before you react. Most people won't do these things. They will keep arguing, they will keep worrying, and they will keep reacting to every little thing that happens to them. But if you practice these 5 habits, you will start seeing solutions where others see dead ends. You will stay calm while everyone else is drowning. People will come to you. They will want to know how you stay so cool under pressure. And the best part, none of this requires you to be born special. It just requires you to pay attention, to choose your responses instead of just letting them happen. That is what real intelligence looks like.